The topic that I wanted to discuss today was of simple and compound interest. It's usually a follow-up topic for percentages and profit and loss. And it's a part of arithmetic mathematics, which includes percentages, ratio, uh, profit and loss, arithmetic progression and geometric progression, simple and compound interest, etc. So let's try to understand what interest actually is and the types of interest, what is the difference between these two interests, and we'll solve some questions which are from CAT as well. So let's try to understand what is interest first. Interest, let me take back uh, this topic of interest to ancient economy, right? So in ancient economy, during the medieval period, interest or people did not, borrow or lend anything to each other, right? There was only barter system in which a person would give another person some valuable for which he would receive another valuable in return, right? So there was only barter system, and there was the concept of borrowing or lending did not exist. After medieval period, when the economy tried to, when the economists tried to understand how economy works, and the first, the first time interest or borrowing came into effect was when there was an increase in population, right? When the population increased and resources came down, there were many issues that people used to face, like floods, droughts, right? And in most of these cases, the farmland or the animals used to suffer a lot, right? So borrowing started due to sufferings. Unlike modern economy where borrowing is a way of life, borrowing actually started through because of sufferings, right? And during this time, interest did not exist. People just used to borrow from each other, and taking interest or taking anything for borrowing or for lending something to someone was not considered a good thing, right? So interest did not come into play at that time. But then in modern economy, economists thought that if someone has to lend any valuable to someone else, right? In that case, this person who is lending, the lender, should receive something more than this valuable from this borrower, right? He should receive something more than this valuable from this borrower. So this something which would be more than the valuable or which or the value which has been lent to this borrower is called interest, right? So interest in modern economy where we see banks, right? And we consider interest usually in the case of borrowing or lending through financial institutions now. And banks who are both borrowers as well as lenders, right? So when we keep our money in bank, we lend our money. We are the lenders in that case, and we lend our money to the bank, and bank gives us a interest, right? And being lenders, bank give out loans on which they receive interest, right? So when we keep something in the bank, we are lending our money to the banks, although it is very, through marketing and through years of सालों साल में बोल के, it has been taught to us that keeping money in bank is a safe option, or you're keeping your money in safety, right? But bank is a place where you keep your money without any guarantee of receiving it back ever, right? If a bank collapses, if a bank does not do well, your money is all gone. So, but we lend money to banks and receive some interest, and banks lend money in form of loans to people, and through it they receive interest, right? Now there are two types of interest. One is called simple interest, and the other one is compound. Simple interest is when I borrow, let's say rupees 1,000 from a bank, right? When I borrow rupees 1,000 from a bank, and if I have to repay an interest of 20% for 5 years on this 1,000, and this interest is calculated direct. Direct means when we calculate 20% on 1,000, which is 200 rupees, and for all the 5 years, I have to pay 200 rupees as my interest. Right? This is called simple interest. When the interest is directly calculated on the amount which has been borrowed, and that interest in form of percentage is calculated and multiplied by the years for which the amount is borrowed. So I have to repay a interest, a fixed interest for all those 5 years, right? So simple interest was the first type of interest which came into play, which people started using, and even in banking, simple interest, even the banks started with simple interest in the very beginning, right? Then economists thought that when we lend, let's say 1,000 rupees to someone, right, and let's say they pay an interest of 100 rupees at 10% for the first year. Now, when they pay 100 rupees, or let's say we have kept 1,000 rupees in the bank, and bank pays 100 rupees as interest for the first year at 10% per annum rate of interest. Now our bank has 1,100 rupees. So we have lent 1,000 initial rupees plus 100 more to the bank, right? But in case of simple interest, I only receive interest on this 1,000 rupees every year, right? And every year, this 100 rupees which went into my bank account, I did not receive anything for this money. However, this was also the money borrowed by the bank, right? So economists thought that the money which comes into the account, or which is the extra money on which the interest is never calculated or never received, this is leading to slower economic development of at macro as well as at micro level, right? So after that, compound interest was formulated, and compound interest is when you receive interest on your initial amount kept in your bank account, or initial amount which is lent to someone, and then you also receive interest over the interest accumulated, right? Every time some interest comes to your account, you receive interest on this 100 rupees also, right? So interest is basically compounded over the received interest as well. That is why it is called compound interest, right? Simple interest is nothing but when I give my money to someone, that someone gives me some interest, although that interest is fixed, and I receive that rupees 1,000 plus a fixed interest spread over the years for this 1,000. Right? That 10% interest is always on this 1,000 rupees. Right? So, in case of simple interest, the formula is P, which is principal amount, which is nothing but the amount which is borrowed in the very beginning, or the amount which is lent. So P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest, and T is the time unit. Right? T is not the number of years, but T will always call T as time unit. It can be in years, it can be in half years, it can be in quarters, days, hours, anything. So T is the number of time units for which the amount P, the principal, is lent or borrowed, on which a rate of interest R is applied and a simple interest of PRT upon 100 is received. Right? So if I keep rupees 1,000 in my bank account and I receive 10% interest for 3 years, if it is simple interest, then my interest would be 300 rupees. So my interest would be 300 rupees on 1,000 rupees kept in the bank, in which I receive a rate of interest 10% for 3 years. So my per year interest would be 300 by 3, which is 100, which is of course true because this is simple interest and 10% interest is calculated on 1,000 every year. Right? So this is simple interest. In case of simple interest, amount is principal plus interest. Not in case of simple interest, but in case of any interest. Amount is always the principal amount which is kept, the amount which is kept in the bank plus the interest accumulated in the account. And this amount is the final money that you receive after the borrower gives back your money. Right? So if I keep 1,000 rupees in my bank and I get 10% interest for 3 years, so my interest would be 300 rupees, but my amount would be my principal plus my interest. Because this 300 would also come into my bank account, right? So bank account show a balance of 1,300 rupees. Right? Now, is simple interest clear? Anyone any doubts? Let's solve a question on simple interest. कि जिसने अपना स्क्रीन पे कुछ मार्क किया हुआ है हटा दो यार, मेरी स्क्रीन पे भी आ रहा है. Mohan borrowed 10,000 rupees from Sohan. Sohan charges a simple interest of 10 per annum. Mohan returned 4,000 rupees after 1 year, which included the interest for the first year. He returned the remaining amount after 2 more years, but the interest that Mohan ended up paying. Okay? So Mohan borrowed 10,000 rupees from Sohan, and Sohan charges simple interest of 10, it should be 10% per annum. Right? Mohan returned 4,000 rupees after 1 year, which included the interest for the first year. So Mohan has taken rupees 1,000 from Sohan. And now Sohan charges 10% of 10% simple interest on this 1000 rupees, right? For the first year, the interest would be 10% of 1000, right? Which is 100 rupees. Sorry, he has borrowed 10,000. Sorry. So the interest is 1000 rupees, right? So the first year interest is 1000 rupees, and after first year he returns rupees 4000. So out of this 4000, 1000 is the interest, and rest 3000 is the principal that he has returned to Mohan. He says that I don't need it anymore, and he has returned 3000 principal to Mohan. So now he is left with a principal of 10,000 minus 3,000, which is 7,000. Right? Because 1,000 was interest out of this 4,000. 1,000 was interest. Right? So the principal amount that he has returned is of 3,000. So actual money that he is left with is 7,000. So for the next 2 years that he keeps this money with himself, he has interest. He has the amount or the principal of 7,000 on which a 10% interest is charged. Simple interest for 2 years would be 7,000 into 10% into 2, which is 1,400. Right? The simple interest after 2 years, he pays back his all the money, and the total money that he'll pay back is, although it is not asked in the question, but still, total amount that he pays back is 7,000 plus 14,000, right? 8,400. After 2 years, he pays back 8,400, but total amount that he has paid back is 8,400 plus in the first installment after first year, he paid back 4,000, which is 12,400, right? So he pays back 12,400 for 10,000 rupees that he borrowed, right? So total interest that he actually paid back was 12,400 minus 10,000, which is 2,400. Although we could also calculate this interest as 1,400 when we calculated this 1,400, we could have added the interest which he repaid after the first year, and we could have added both these interests, which would have again come out to be 2,400. But still, is this clear? Let's move on to compound interest. Now, compound interest is I pay someone 1,000 rupees, that someone has to pay an interest of, let's say, 10% for 3 years. So in that case, what he'll pay back to me is, for first year he'll pay back 10% on 1,000. So 1 year, which is 100 rupees, right? In the second year, or let's assume this as our bank account for ease of understanding, and in the bank account you have deposited 1,000 years. The bank is giving you an interest of 10% for 3 years, right? So for 3 years, the bank would pay you interest for 1,000, and this after first year, 100 rupees is accumulated in your bank account. 1100, right? Which has 1000 principal and 100 interest. In second year, bank will again give you 10% on 1000 plus 10% on 100 rupees too, right? So bank will give you 100 rupees plus 10 rupees, which is 110 rupees as interest. So now your bank will have 1000 rupees, which was principal, 100 rupees interest of first year, and 110 of second year. In the third year, bank will again give you a 10% interest on this 1000 rupees, right? Plus a 10% interest on this and this total, which is 210. Bank will give you a 10% on this 210 rupees also, right? So they'll give you 100 rupees on this plus 21 of this, which is 121. Bank will give you 121 rupees again, right? So every year your interest, total accumulated interest for that year will be increasing because the interest here is compounding on the interest received in the first, second or third year also, right? So for compound interest, a formula is amount, which is the total and last, the total amount that you receive in the end is principal P into 1 plus R upon 100 risk per N, where P again is principal, R rate of interest, and N is number of time units. Okay? Number of time units, not years. In compound interest, just remember this, that the formula here is for the amount. It is for amount and not for compound interest. While in simple interest, the formula here is of simple interest. To calculate amount in case of simple interest, you will have to add principal to this formula, right? So amount would be P plus PRT by 100, correct? But in this case, in case of compound interest, the formula is of amount. So if you want to calculate compound interest, it will be amount minus principal, which is if we take P common, then this, right? So remember this, that the formula that you're using here is not of compound interest, it is of amount. Always remember to subtract principal from this value so that you arrive on compound interest if the question is of compound interest, right? Let's solve a question here. Ravi invests a sum of money in a bank which gives a simple interest of 5% per annum. He invests twice the amount of money in another bank which gives an interest of 3% per annum compounded annually. At the end of 3 years, the interest earned from which bank would be higher and by what percent? Right? So he invests a sum of money in a bank. Let's say he invests a principal of P in a bank where he gets an interest of 5% per annum. Right? So just remember this thing, that your interest should be per annum, or just keep this in mind, if the interest given is per annum or half yearly or quarterly. We'll discuss all these cases right now, but still just keep this in mind, that the interest that is given to you, is it in per annum form or half yearly form or quarterly form, daily form, right? So anyway, he invests twice the amount of money in another bank which gives an interest of 3% per annum compounded annually, right? So we'll take a hint from compounded annually that this is a compound interest. This has to be solved using compound interest formula. At the end of 3 years, the interest earned from the bank, from which bank would be higher, and by what percent approx, right? So interest earned from which bank would be higher, and by what percent? So interest earned here is at the end of 3 years. Formula is simple. Interest is PRT by 100, so which is P. R is 5%. Time is 3 years, right? So this is 0.15 P. Here we have formula of compound interest as principal 1 plus 3 by 100 is per 3 minus principal, right? So this is 1.03 is per 3 minus principal, right? Now, because we have to calculate how much the interest is higher by what percent approx. So this approx gives you a liberty to use approximation in your calculations, right? So we can use approximation here also. 1.03 into 1.03 into 1.03. You can use a calculator on your screen while giving the exam for such calculations. So 1.03 into 1.03 into 1.03, approximately this comes out to be 1.09. Right. So whenever you multiply 1.0a, right? So in that case, I'll teach this later. 1.03 into 1.03 into 1.03 is 1.09. So 2p into 1.09 minus 2p, right? Or 2p into 0.09 or 1.8p. 0.18p, right? So interest is higher in the second case, right? So this and this cannot be our answers. Interest is higher in the second case, and by how much? 0.18 minus 0.15. Upon 0.15, which is 0.03 upon 0.15 into 100%, which is approximately 20%. So we'll mark if 20% is our answer in such cases, right? So in that case, we'll mark this one. This is because we have taken approximations here, and this is not 1.09 but 1.09 something. So I've taken an approximate value, and this value is lower than what actual value is, right? So this value is lower than what actual value should come out to be. So we'll mark a value which is higher than 20%, which is only one case C. Any doubts? Doubts, or is it clear? We have one more question here. The difference between compound interest and simple interest on a sum of rupees 5,000 at the end of 3 years is 224.64. Find the rate of interest if both simple interest and compound interest are calculated at the same rate of interest. Right? So, here it's written that the sum is rupees 5,000. So, which means principal is rupees 5,000 because interest is being calculated on this amount. Principal is 5,000. At the end of 3 years, time is 3 years, right? And the difference of compound interest and simple interest is 2 to 4.64. It means compound interest minus simple interest is 2 to 4.64, right? In this case, let's write down the formula first. Compound interest is principal 1 plus R by 100 power 3 minus principal minus this is compound interest minus simple interest is principal into rate of interest into time upon 100. It is 224.64, right? So now you can see that a simple interest and compound interest question can sometimes become a really long question to calculate, right? And calculations are sometimes really long in this. So what I prefer to do in this case is again use the options, right? So if the question would have been a theta question, if you had to type in the answer, then the calculations would not be so difficult, right? Calculations would be much easier if you have a theta question because now you have to open this identity a plus b whole cube and then you have to calculate for r cube, r square, and there is too much to solve in this. So I'll prefer to solve it using the options, right? In questions like this, where you think that calculation is long and options can be directly keyed in and direct calculations can be done using the options, then use the options. That is a better way to go ahead with these questions, right? So you can solve to some extent so that you can easily key in the option. When we open this, it is 1a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b plus 3a b square minus 1. Right? So you can see that these questions are a little calculation intensive. So you can directly key in your options and you can calculate using that. Right? CR 100 plus CR square. After this, use options. Please use options. यहाँ पे ऑप्शंस यूज कर पाओ, वहाँ पे ऑप्शंस यूज करो. और वैसे अगर इस क्वेश्चन को पूरा सॉल्व करने की कोशिश भी करोगे, अगर मैं क्वेश्चन को पूरा सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करता हूँ, I'll not be able to solve this question. I'll not be able to arrive to an answer by solving this because in the end I'll only have an equation like this. I've not solved this question earlier, but I can see from here that this quantity when multiplied by 5,000 will give me 150 R itself, and both of these quantities will get cancelled. So I'll have an equation something like R cube plus R square minus a number 240 or whatever the number is equal to 0, and I cannot solve an equation like this, right? So do not get into solving when the equations are so long and the calculations are very intensive. Just key in the options and you find that one of the options is correct. Any doubts here? Anything? Simple interest compound interest is a relatively easier topic, but you will find a question on this topic in every CAT exam or in every exam, every management entrance test for sure. Yeah. Let's move on. Now, if rate of interest is given to be half yearly, what will we do? Suppose there's a question in which principal is, let's say, 1000. Rate, let's say time is 1 year, and rate of interest is 10% half yearly, right? Or it can also be written as rate 10%, 20% per annum compounded half yearly. Sorry. So if a question like this comes, that you're given a principal, you're given a time period, and then the rate of interest is suddenly given in the form of half years, or the rate of interest is 10% half yearly or 20% per annum compounded half yearly, right? So in both these cases, we just have to do one thing. We have to align this time unit to this time unit. That's it. Right? The formulas are same and everything remains the same. We only have to align the time unit with rate of interest and the time unit with the T or N given here. That's it. Right? So if rate of interest is 10% half yearly, this means that for every half year, I get 10% interest. Right? So in first half year also I'll get 10%, in second half year also I'll get 10%, in third half year also I'll get 10%. Right? So in case of this, or if it is mentioned that rate of interest is 20% per annum, compounded half yearly. Right? So this means that the bank is giving you interest on a half year basis. Right? So what bank is doing is, bank is saying that we will give you 20% per annum compounded half yearly. So this means that every half year on 1000 rupees, right? So let's say for the first half year, on 1000 rupees, you will receive a 10% interest in your bank account. And then for next half year, again, you will receive a 10% of interest on whatever amount you have in that at that time in your bank account, right? So कंपाउंडेड हाफ ईयरली मींस कि बैंक जो है वो आपको आधे साल के बाद ही आपका इंटरेस्ट आपके अकाउंट में डाल देगा और उस इंटरेस्ट के ऊपर फिर से इंटरेस्ट लगा के नेक्स्ट हाफ ईयर में भी आपको वो दे देगा. ठीक है, इंस्टेड ऑफ एक साल के बाद इंटरेस्ट डाले वो आपको हाफ ईयरली इंटरेस्ट दे दिया करेगा. ठीक है, तो आपकी जो साइकिल है, जो साइकिल ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग ऑफ इंटरेस्ट बिकम्स हाफ, राइट. So when the cycle becomes half, या फिर here, if question is in this form, then also rate will become 10% half yearly, right? And when the rate is half yearly, our time will also be half yearly. So my time unit will become 2.5 years, right? And I'll put all of this information in the formula as A is equal to 1000, 1 plus 10 by 100 into to the power. My time unit is 2 now, right? Is this clear? But just remember that if you're given rate of interest as 10% half yearly, then you do not need to divide it by 2 and while putting it in here, right? But if you're giving rate 20% per annum compounded half yearly, then you will have to key in as the rate of interest as 10%, half of what is given, right? Any question in this?
Sir, in the first case, where the rate is 10% half yearly, can we not do this? Can we not change the rate as 20% and time period as 1?
No, we cannot. We cannot. The whole point is that the interest has to come half yearly to your account. अगर हाँ, if it is mentioned that rate is 10% half yearly compounded annually, right? तो ये तो बहुत ही गलत तरीका है लिखने का. तो जो पेपर बना रहा है अगर वो ऐसा लिख रहा है रेट हाफ ईयरली है और कंपाउंडेड एनुअली हो रहा है तो फिर तो मतलब थोड़ा दिक्कत है. ठीक है, वो मतलब वो ऐसा लिखेगा ही नहीं पेपर के अंदर कभी कि रेट इज 10% हाफ ईयरली बट कंपाउंडेड एनुअली, राइट? वो 20% ही लिखेगा. दिस इज अ वेरी रॉन्ग वे टू राइट दिस सेंटेंस, right? So half yearly means you just have to see that how it is compounded. If it is compounded half yearly, then you cannot take rate of interest as 20% per annum itself and you cannot use 1 year. For example, if the question was rate 20% per annum compounded half yearly and time was given as 1 year, you cannot use A is equal to 1000, 1 plus 20 by 100 power 1. This will be wrong. You'll have to compound it half yearly. So you'll have to change your time units and you'll have to change your rate of interest in that case. Clear? Now the rate of interest is quarterly. So again, my principal is, let's say 1000. My time is, let's say 1 year, and my rate of interest is 20% per annum compounded quarterly. Okay. So quarter means 1/4, right? So there are 4 1/4 years in a year, right? So quarter is of 3 months, right? So if the rate of interest is 20% per annum compounded quarterly, then my rate of interest would be 20 by 4. Per quarter, and my time will be 1 year because time here mentioned is 1 year. So I'll have to multiply time with 4. 4 quarters. And I'll put in all this information in the formula as A is 1000, 1 plus 20 by 400 par 4. Clear? Absolutely the same thing, but only the time reference or the time period is changing. Yep.
Sir, rate of interest should be 5%, no, in formula.
मैंने क्या किया? 5 यहाँ पे 5 लिख लो या फिर 21,400 लिख लो, एक ही बात। ठीक है। अब if the interest is given monthly, the rate of interest charge is monthly. In that case, similarly, if the principal is 1,000 and the time is, let's say, 1 year, and rate is 20% per annum compounded monthly, right? So if it is compounded monthly, in that case, rate would be 20 by 12%, right? And time will be 1 into 12 months. This is per month. And amount will be 1,000, 1 plus 20 by 1200 per 12. Yeah. Similarly, this can be daily also. So if you have a principal of, let's say, 1,000 and time of 1 year, and rate of interest is, let's say, 10% per annum compounded daily, right? So in that case, rate of interest is 10 upon 365, depending on the number of days in that year. If it is a leap year, you'll take 366. If it is a non-leap year, then you'll take 365. If it is not mentioned whether it is a leap year or non-leap year, then also you'll take 365, right? So time will be 365 days per day. So my formula would become 1,000, 1 plus 10 upon 36500 to the power 365. Of course, if a question comes, it would be for 2 to 3 or 4 days. It would not be for 365 days. But any doubts? Anything in this? Okay. So they can also be a case when interest is per annum and it is compounded annually, but my time period is not in integers. It's not an integral value. Before that, one more thing, that if this question is for simple interest, let's say, because all the formulas that I have used are of compound interest. If the formula is of simple interest and rate is 10% per annum, right? And the interest is given daily, right? So in that case also, my formula would be P into R and T like this, right? My formula for simple interest would also adjust to these new values, right? So now if time is not an integral value but a fractional or a decimal value, in that case, like this question, find the compound interest on 1,000 at the rate of 20% per annum for 18 months when interest is compounded half yearly, right? So This question could be asked in two ways. One is exactly the same way that it is written right now. And let's solve this first and then we'll move on to the second part. Second way. Find the compound interest on rupees 1000 rate of 20% per annum for 18 months when the interest is compounded half yearly. So as soon as we see that compounded half yearly, we'll start to change everything. My rate will become 10% for half year, right? And my time will become 18 months means 1.5 years into 2 because half yearly, the time has to be multiplied by 2. So time become 3 years, right? And principal is of course 1000. So my amount will be 1000 into 1 plus 10 part 3, right? So now to ease out the calculations, what I'll do is I'll write it as 1.1, and I know that cube of 11 is 1331. So this is 1.331 into 1000, which is 1331. So amount that I receive after 18 months or 3 half years. No, it's not 3 years. 3 half years, right? After 3 half years is 1331, right? So my compound interest would be amount minus principal, which is 331. This clear? The second way in which the question could have been asked would have been the principal being 1000, rate being 20% per annum, time being 18 months, and compounded is annually. Here, if instead of half yearly compounding, the compounding was done annually, in that case, what would we do? If compounded, if the interest is compounded annually, we do not change the rate of interest, right? Because this is also per annum, this is also annual compounding. So we'll keep the rate of interest as 20%, right? But because time is 18 months, time is not an integer value, right? So we'll have to divide this time into annual years and the rest of the time, right? So this will become 1 year and 1 6 month or 1 half year. Right? So what we'll do is for first year, we'll use the normal formula. 1000, 1 plus 20 by 100, 1. Right? Because for the first year, if I am depositing this money, 1000 rupees in my bank account, and for first year I'll get my interest, right? I'll get it normally. 20% interest compounded annually. At the end of 1 year, I'll get 20% interest on my principal amount of 1000 rupees. But for the next half year, because I am withdrawing my money after 6 months, I'll only get interest for that 6 months, right? So because I'm getting interest for only 6 months, my rate of interest will be half. I'll not be getting 20%, of course. I'll be getting 10% for that 1 half year, right? So amount would be this for the first year plus 1 plus 10 upon 100 for the second part of the 18 months or for the 1 half year left out of that 1.5 years, right? So I'll have to adjust it accordingly. But because it is written compounded annually, I cannot do this. I cannot do this here. I cannot just reduce the interest to half and take time as 3 half years. I cannot do this here because interest has to be compounded annually. But what will the bank do if I withdraw my money after 6 months? Bank will have to pay me the interest for those 6 months. So in that case, for this 6 months, bank paid me the interest of 10%. Ask me if you have any questions. शॉर्टकट है, कैलकुलेटर यूज कर लेना, स्क्रीन वाला पावर निकाल सकते हैं उसमें।
So one question, in case of the 6 months, so bank is basically will be paying us half the amount that we were to pay if we had our amount for the another 1 year. तो हम सीधा 1 साल का जो भी अमाउंट आएगा उसको हाफ करके वही अमाउंट भी निकाल सकते हैं।
एक साल का जो अमाउंट आएगा वी कैनॉट उसका हाफ नहीं कर सकते, वी कैनॉट हाफ द अमाउंट, वी कैन ओनली हाफ द कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट फॉर द सेकेंड 1 ईयर, उसका हाफ कर सकते हैं, बट दैट विल बी अ लेंथियर कैलकुलेशन। Right, so what she's asking is, can we do something like this? Where for the first year we calculate it normally, and then for the second year also we calculate using this method and then half it, right? Because we are only getting the interest for 6 months. So you can do this, but you cannot divide the amount by 2, because amount is not getting divided by 2. You can divide the interest by 2. Right? That can be done. Sorry, interest. You can divide interest by 2. That is possible. That can be easily done. Right? But that will be a lengthier calculation. Why do you want to do that? This will be an easier case and easy to solve. ठीक है, population growth. So population growth is a case of appreciation, when anything appreciates in value, right? And population growth is also measured as compound interest, because let's say there's an area with a population of 1000 and it grows by 10% and it becomes 1100, right? Initial 1000 and then 100 new. Then again a 10% growth will be on both these numbers and not only on 1000, right? So therefore population growth is also visualized as compound interest or compound growth, right? So if in an area the initial population is Pi, right? And the population is growing, rate of growth is R% per annum, and N is the time unit again, right? Then new population can be calculated using the exact same formula which we use in compound interest. And everything that we do in compound interest is applicable here. If the rate is given half yearly, then we'll have to multiply n by 2. If it is given quarterly, then we'll have to multiply it by 4 and so on, right? So everything that we do with compound interest, everything is applicable in population growth, right? Now, just like growth or appreciation, there can be depreciation also, and depreciation can be on population, or it can be on values of anything, right? Values of machinery, items, anything, right? depreciation is when the value of something is reduced, right? So when in case of appreciation or compound interest, right, we are using 1 plus r by 100 into principal to find out the amount, right? So we are adding this rate of interest to the principal to find out the appreciation growth. But when the value is reduced, there is a reduction in the value. Of course, just like we did in loss and we subtracted rate of interest with CP to find out ST, we subtract this here also. Depreciation is calculated as subtract rate of interest here, we subtract this rate of interest from the actual value for n number of time units to find out the depreciated value. Right? So depreciation can be on anything. Any doubts till now? You want to ask anything? Okay. So I have 2 or 3 CAT questions that I wanted to discuss, and let's try to solve them. On a certain sum of money, compound interest earned at the end of 3 years is 1456. Compound interest at the end of 2 years is 880. Compute the principal invested. Right. So compound interest at the end of 3 years would be P 1 plus R by 100, P minus P. Compound interest at the end of 2 years would be P 1 plus R by 100, 2 minus P. Right, and both these values are given to us. But we have 2 variables and 2 equations. Right, this is 1456 and this is 880. We have 2 variables P and R, and we have 2 equations. First one is this, second one is this. Right, so how do we solve this? To eliminate one of these variables, even if we subtract this equation from this, then P may not get eliminated. So let's divide both of them. Take P common. One four five six by 8 8 and eliminate P. Right. So solve this equation for R. You get a quadratic equation. Solve this equation for R. Right, and then when you have R, put in any of these equations and find. So this is an easy question, but because this question came in CAT, so I just wanted to discuss this question with you. You want to ask me anything in this question, or you'll be able to solve this? All of you? So if you have a question like this and you're stuck because you have very large values like R by 100 and you have to open R by 100 to a power of cube or to a power of 2 to solve this equation, and then there are 2 numbers 1456 and 880 here too. So in that case, to make your calculations easier, you can write R by 100 as, let's say, K. Right. So it will become 1 plus k cube minus 1 upon 1 plus k square minus 1 is equal to 1456 by 880. Calculate for k, right? When a value of k would come here, then you can substitute r by 100 again, right? So you can make your calculations easier by substituting such large fractions with smaller numbers, right? This can be easily done. So I hope from this equation, this question would appear a little easier than what it actually appears to be. Okay. Second question is this, which I wanted to discuss, and there is one important concept that I want to discuss in this question. Ram deposits rupees P with a bank at R% compound interest and sees it reach rupees 16P in 20 years. If he had invested the same amount at R% simple interest for 20 years, what would be the amount? Right? So he wants to know if he had invested the same amount at R% simple interest for 20 years, what would be the amount? He wants to know the amount. Because amount that he has asked is in the terms of P, so we do not need to calculate P at all, right? We'll keep P as P because in case of compound interest also the amount is in the form of P. We actually need to calculate R here. If we have R, then amount can be calculated in terms of P, right? So principal is P here. Rate is R% for 20 years, and this is 16, right? P amounts to 16P in 20 years at R% per annum. Now, here we have an equation where the power is the power is a large number, which is 20, right? And we need to calculate this equation to find out this variable R, which is inside the bracket, which is raised to the power of 20, right? So start with simplifying the equation as much as you can, right? So we know that 16 is 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 4, right? So what we'll do is we'll write this power of 20 as something to the power of 4. Powers get cancelled and 1 plus r to the power 5 is 2, right? Now we don't know how x plus y to the power of 5 would be written as. Even I don't know this already, right? So what we'll do in the exam, there is a concept that I wanted to discuss now, which will help us easily solve this. And the concept is, suppose you deposit money in a bank account, and you need to calculate that for n number of years. N number of years. If you keep that money in your bank account for n number of years and you want your money to double, right? That means for P principal, amount should be 2P. You want your money to double up. Then the rate of interest that is required for your money to double up in n years is 72 upon n. This is the rate of interest required for principal to double in n years, right? It can be any principal, but the question is, but the formula remains the same. The rate of interest would be 72 upon n for principal to double up. In this case, 1 plus r upon 100 to the power 5 is 2, which again means that amount is somewhat double of the principal. Right? So r here will be 72 upon 5, because n is 5, which is around 4.4%. Right? So calculate simple interest for this 14.4%, keeping pre as p, r as 14.4, time as 20 upon 100, right? And then after calculating this, you add this simple interest to your principal to find amount, right? And then you will arrive at an option which will be in between these options which are given in the question. Any questions here? This will be 2.88p. Right. 2.88. Amount will be 3.88p, which is this. Any questions? Anything? (72 by n) is the rate of interest which is required for any principal to double up. For any principal to double up in n number of years. If you deposit a principal of P in your bank account and you want the principal to get doubled, then, and if you're keeping it for n years, then the rate of interest should be 72 by n. Also, if you are given a rate of interest of r and you are asked the time in which it will get doubled, then you can use n is equal to 72 by r also, right? So, for example, if you are asked at a rate of 10% per annum, you want rupees 20,000 to double, right? So that in that case, n is equal to 72 by 10. You will require 7.2 years to 7.2 years for 20,000 to double in its value. It is fixed. Anyone, any doubts? Okay, so this was simple interest and compound interest, and there are no more concepts as such in this topic. And I'll send you the worksheet to do for simple interest and compound interest, and it's a relatively easier topic, and you'll be able to solve questions even from CAT previous years. So, if you have any questions, then you can say. If you do not have any questions, you can leave. Please leave the session if you do not have any questions.